The Butt Kicker Gamer 2. What you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Ever witnessed someone so fast on track you doubt you could ever be on their level? The mission of Advanced Motorsports is to demonstrate the speed is achievable for everyone. With the expertise of some of the best sim drivers in North America, we are set to release free content on social media and comprehensive guides on our website. For those seeking the ultimate experience, our Advanced Motorsport Institute and personalized coaching sessions are the way to go. No matter your level of experience, we invite you to follow us on our social media to learn to be fast.
Tonight, two different venues, two different styles of racing. One stock car Wednesday night. Welcome to Precision Racing League and its coverage of the Truck Series here on RaceSpot as we begin things from the action track, Richmond Raceway. I'm Justin Prince alongside me, Derek Watson, Dustin Owens, our producer here tonight, as we get ready to see how the drivers handle short track racing when it comes to Richmond. So far, it's been an interesting season, Derek, but tonight, it's going to take an interesting turn here from the action track.
Yeah, some very quick turns, you might say, with how fast laps here are at Richmond Raceway. Justin, it's been a busy schedule so far. Next week we go to the road course, then a Milwaukee Mile, and we wrap it up at Darlington. Four very, very different tracks here for these guys to try and claim that points title. Speaking of the points title, let's take a look, JP. The drop weeks are in.
So far, Brett Adams with the drops would be your points leader right now. He's got 12 points, the advantage over him, Zach Panzarella, that being him. Barney Calvert, Patrick Cowgill, Brennan Chatley, your top five in standings. We also have in the conversation still a bit right now, Andrew Sharp, Austin Hunter, Phil Beaver with his run last time out, also helping himself some causes as a result of some of the speed we've seen from him at times this season. Team-wise, meanwhile, let's take a look at that because so far, it's been an interesting campaign in the season. DDI Motorsports 44 Ever leading the way this season. Fillmore in second as an organization. Butterback Racing, Hunters, and Final Drive, third and fourth. Buster's Buzz Racing Club in the top five in team standings. Also of note, Big Fast Racing did not score any points last week. Despite having a fast lap at one point, they are back in 8th spot. They are the first of those who have not scored points for their team in a round this season. That's what we'll talk about the running orders for tonight. Now, as we get ready, tonight's action is brought to you by several partners, including Advanced Sim Racing. Owned and operated by passionate sim racers, Advanced Sim Racing designs and builds the sturdiest and most durable aluminum profile racing simulation cockpits available on the market today. All PRL members also get a 5% discount ASR products. Use the Precision 5 coupon code. Racebox offers mid and high-end button boxes for sim racing enthusiasts, for the casual gamer up to the most meticulous sim racing driver. Competitively priced and carefully handcrafted, our button boxes are an enjoyable addition to any sim racing setup. Visit RaceboxSimRacing.com, get a 5% discount. Use the Precision 5 coupon code. Butt Kicker products add incredible immersion and realism to every game. For every nuance, enjoy put yourself in the driver's seat. Barandis is a performance lifestyle brand motivated by motorsport and founded by professional race car driver Daniel Morad. For more information, visit Mirandas.com. Mr. Hedge iRacing Photography. Capture your finest, proudest, or simply worst moments from your hobby and up to 8K resolution. A great addition to any sim room. And by Advanced Motorsports. Get ready to learn to be fast with Advanced Motorsports. Follow them on their socials to become a better driver. Less than a minute to go to qualifying, Derek, and track position going to be critical for a race like this. Many drivers not able to qualify, including Jamie Graham per the penalty listings. But Brett Adams, top of the board, 21.9. The only person in the 21 second bracket.
Yeah, look at that. You see the point standings from a moment ago. Then you look at the qualifying order, JP, top left of your screen on the pylon there. There's Brett Adams first, your points leader. Patrick Cowgill, currently, I think, third or fourth in points up here, P2. And the big name, big surprise, look at that third and fourth right now, JP, as they wrap up qualifying almost. Nick Hunter and Mike Toomer having amazing nights.
Yeah, that's going to be helpful for them, to say the very least, in track position. Nick Hunter in particular, when it came to final practice tonight, showed flash the pace in the 22 flat. Drivers at speed able to run as high as 21.8 in the C-Fixed SOFs this week. But 40 minutes about to be added to the clock. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight from Richmond. On the pole tonight, Brett Adams, Patrick Helgill starts in second. Nick Hunter and Mike Toomer Jr. within 2/10 the pole time, start in the top 4. Kevin McGarvey and Alex Hillman, your top 6. Austin Hunter's on the next page of drivers now. On that next page, he'll be alongside Brennan Shatley in the next moment or so when it flips over in a few moments. Zach Panzarello, Mike Richter in the top 10. Stacey Hunter, Baron Hilton, your top 12 this evening. One other driver took a time, Tom Massey. Doyle Lawrence in 14th, Jamie Graham in 15th. Kyle Dewey, Phil Beaver, Marty Calvert, and Zachary Burnt was your last driver to take a time, or rather enter in a race today here in the PRL. Let's look top to bottom of the red order here tonight. 40 minutes rather on the board. Derek, your keys to a good race.
Throttle control. These trucks are loose and tricky and kind of nasty with how they want to behave in these corners, JP. If you smash that pedal too hard out of 2 or 4, you're going to smash the front of that car like a watermelon right in the wall. Just be pieces everywhere.
Who are you watching out for and why tonight?
Oh, man, this is such a classic racetrack, and I think I'm looking out really for the people up front. I think track position is king. Passing has proven to be a bit difficult here without the bump. And honestly, you know, with how many cautions we could have with how these trucks behave, I don't know that too many people will move back to front here. I'm really excited to see Nicholas Hunter and Mike Toomer 3rd and 4th. I want to see what they can do with those runs and see if they can make something happen. Nick Hunter really, in JP, has come alive this season. He's just been so alive and so just full of color and life with his runs this season that I'm excited to see if he can make something of it up there in P3.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look and see what happens here in this one tonight. And passing is going to be a tricky one. It's been seen throughout the week. Clean air is king here at Richmond.
Oh, clean air is king, and really the best way to make the pass is the most controversial way, JP, which is to put a little bit of that chrome horn to use, just put a little bit of that fender to use, and just, you're not trying to wreck someone, you're not trying to even almost wiggle them, you just want to kind of give a small nudge, maybe send them into the corner a little faster than you used to, and you let them ride up the track. That's the proper way to do it. Now, that doesn't mean it always happens that way. Some people get really kind of rude and aggressive, and it can become quite the maniacal race when those go wrong. But yeah, you have to do it correctly. So you're right, clean air is king. We saw that Monday night in RSR with the Cup cars, and I suspect we'll see it again here as we start our second pace lap.
So we'll see what happens here tonight. In about a lap's time, we go racing. 40 minutes on the clock here from the action track. The weather conditions, by the way, quality skies, mostly quality. In fact, 86 degrees is the track temperature, 83 the air temp. So fairly hot conditions and fairly slick for the nighttime sky box tonight.
Yeah, in fact, I mean, for Richmond, 86 could be seen as not that hot. We've definitely seen worse track temps to start the race, but it will cool off as the night goes on. But the tempers and the anger will not cool off as the night goes on.
Happy with us here on RaceSpot PRL Truck Series action. In control, Brett Adams. Cal Gill alongside. Green flag is out. We're underway from Richmond. First lap comes to a close. Brett Adams leads it. Patrick Calgill in second. already. Nicholas Hunter trying different lines, trying a diamond line rather than using a flat bottom line. Others forced to use the second groove. As a bit of a loose moment in the back, Tom Massey holds on.
Great job by Massey to save that vehicle there, because sometimes when that truck points that way, it's hard to do anything but find the wall. But a great job here. Here's a new fast lap. Brett Adams will set some here. But look at that 11 of Alex Hillman, JP. He's riding almost the top of the track right here. Watch him do it again. I came down the middle that time. But there he is, almost up top. Very different from the rest of this field.
Yeah, right now, lots of different lines coming into play here. Alex Hillman trying to utilize that second groove right now. And it is possible if you do it right. A lot of people actually were daring to, throughout the weekend officials, to use the third line, Derek.
And the reason you want to use the third line and why it's tempting, JP, is with less wheel input out of the corners, there's less odds that that truck snaps on you and just moves to the inside without you getting a say in it. So you want to be up there because the transition for the banking is less, but it's also hard to get up there and still be competitive when you're going the longer way around this track.
Up front, though, Brett Adams has been having the best season of his PRL career here because he's been a race or two a season winner, basically, for much of his time. He's at the 2-win mark here. But this season, he's had the consistency to back it up this season in the championship.
Yeah, he's always shown flashes of brilliance in the past and previous seasons, of maybe a win here, a win there, a top 5 here even. But this season really has come together. There's been like a new breed this season of cars and drivers that have come to the front of the field and wanted to compete. I mean, Nicholas Hunter's up there. You know, we saw the emergence of Zach Panzarella last season. You know, Austin Hunter's up here. Mike Toomer's in the top 10 right now. It's just like you can feel that new breed coming. And with all the changes for PRL next season and these full 40 truck fields, I'm happy these guys are getting their feet wet right now.
Right now, Munzel's moving ahead. By the way, Jamie Graham, keep an eye on him. One of the non-qualifiers, already up to 10th. He talked about he had confidence in the speed, Derek, on social media before this race. Knew it was going to be challenging coming from the back. And so far, he's been able to live up to the challenge, at least up to Panzarella.
Yeah, Jamie's been an incredible driver this season as well, and he's just had a couple unfortunate moments. My goodness, they got close there. That has sort of, you know, derailed maybe, you know, him being in the lead of the points right now. So there's been a couple drivers who just kind of have thrown away a couple races, and how different the points could be if that wasn't the case. Here's your side-by-side. That's Mike Toomer Jr., I believe, on the outside in that black and green machine, trying to hold his own here. That's because Mike Richter is getting past here. That shows you the dominance of the bottom lane.
Yeah, I was about to say, you do not want to be off the bottom of the racetrack. We've already talked about this much of the time. At a track like this, you have to be low side long term if you want to move forward.
Probably being the top side, JP, often is not the fact that you're up there. It's the fact that it feels like you can never get back down, right? I use the analogy sometimes when you're at a restaurant and you open the door for the first person, and next thing you know, like 7 more people walk in as you're still holding the door. That's what it's like to be at the top lane of a racetrack, a short track, especially here at Richmond or at Bristol. Once you open that door, like the whole field kind of makes its way through, and there's no way to ever get back down to the bottom.
Hillman struggling to get to the bottom of the racetrack in the corner, still maintains the second groove, point where he's nearly knocking the wall down. He looks tight. Graham makes a move behind him on Mike Richter.
Yeah, Graham's doing a great job here, right up to P7. So obviously he feels comfortable in this vehicle. And I'll tell you what, JP, I am surprised so far between what you and I have seen in the officials, or what you and I have raced this week maybe, or what we saw even in practice for this league, 30, 40 minutes ago. This is a very calm, quiet race right now. Knock on wood, we're almost 5.5 minutes in. We just saw one minor scare with Tom Massey, but I am surprised how well these drivers are holding on to these trucks.
Yeah, if you count down on the minutes, you're essentially running the C Open race distance tonight if it goes green the whole way. And that would require a pit stop. You're out of the range by 10-15 laps. I was about to also say though, one trend that has now popped up tonight has been the loose moments for most people. Kyle Dewey hearing had an issue though. This has been an issue most of the week. Drivers just snapping it off corner.
And that is terrifying when it happens to you. It's terrifying, it's frightening, because you just think there's no way to save that vehicle. Now, luckily for Kyle Dewey, he was alone back there, so he was able to kind of gently snap it back, you know, the other way. But if you're back there too wide or full of a pack of racing when it happens, you can't snap it back without causing a wreck. So luckily for him, he got it gathered up, and he is still racing live. Look at this here. This is Jamie Graham now. This is all over the back of Alex Hillman, the 11 truck. We still have some moments of success last week and trying it again here.
Yeah, right now Graham powering his way past competitors. He is quicker than the race leaders right now. As a matter of fact, if there's a caution, it would really help his case with how they're racing right now. Hillman now utilizing that third line talked about. Doesn't get the run he's looking for though. Graham able to make the pass.
And that's the danger of that third line is that, you know, what you're doing is you're saving tires, less input. It's a safer race, but you're really giving up time and distance to your competitors every time you make that move. So you got to really think about it here, because Hillman almost let Mike Richter in as well back there in that orange machine.
Austin Hunter, by the way, has moved up a spot. He swaps with Kevin McGarvey this time. And McGarvey, he's had a couple good races in a row now. Seen some good pace from him last week too.
Yeah, man, it's just so exciting to see all the great paces we're seeing this season. And really, we've seen a trend of lots of good green flag racing, it feels like. So people are able to show off what they can do. Here's Philip Beaver. This is 11th through 14th. Beaver, Chatley, Lawrence, and Calvert. 11, 12, 13, and 14 here. So, you know, the beautiful thing about Richmond, JP, it's such a small track, only 3/4 of a mile. There's never a moment of silence on this track. Very rarely, as a driver, do you find yourself alone and able to think when you're not in a battle.
You're constantly looking at the mirror, trying to see what's going on. Where's the spotter call? Okay, here's the spotter call. That kind of pattern, right? And Alex Hillman is one of those that, with his line, is going to commonly get that call. Trouble back straight away. A spin for the 98. Caution flag is out. It's Baron Hilton.
Wow, that's going to be a yellow right here for Baron Hilton about 10 minutes into this race. And man, oh man, that's maybe avoidable. I'll say that, JP. That could have been, I think, avoided by Baron Hilton, just maybe driving straight and being a little bit more patient. But let's watch the initial while here. It's got it loose out of 2. Whoa, there's a big, massive power slide there. Maybe not avoid. Maybe, I don't know. That car was still sliding. I might reserve judgment more than I thought based upon the first camera shot. Well, now, JP, as a driver, my mind is thinking, if I'm Brett Adams, listen, we're 10 minutes in. We've burned off some tires. Tire fall off is pretty massive already. But track position sounds pretty great right now. But here comes everybody, I think.
Everybody coming on down. Here's a question. Does anybody take 2 tires here?
I would think, if I was in the back of the pack, what do you have to lose, right? This is what we call a science experiment. Try it now. If it doesn't work, you fix it under the next yellow if there is one, right? But if it does work, now you sort of know it could work later. I don't know. I think this is live experiments right here in the middle of this race. But here's the pack pitting, watching the tires lift up on that side. That's the one we expect. Let's see if anyone leaves quickly. Nope, everyone's going to sit here, get the other side of the tires lifted up. So everyone appears to be 4 tires.
No roll with the dice, no change on strategy. Brett Adams, Patrick Calgill, Nick Hunter, your top 3 off the lane. Austin Hunter, Kevin McGarvey, the top 5. And here's a look one more time at Hilton.
Just got loose all on his own. Man, that's a massive wicked slide. You see him trying to control it. Yeah, maybe fought it. Maybe, at first I said avoidable, but I might take that back. That truck just sort of stopped where it stopped, but You know, maybe you could argue he could have thrown it in the wall, but that's not his job. His job is to hold onto that car and keep it safe. So there you go.
Hearing that we had one driver take 2 tires, yes, confirm. Zachary Burnt, he's in 10th. He was running about near the back of the field. The only driver to take 2 tires, that is obviously not as big of a gain, I think, as he was expecting.
But listen, when you're Zachary Burnt, obviously you're not top 4, top 5 in points. So you're here to win. You're here to show off and put that green and yellow machine in Victory Road if you can. So why not try something new? I like it. I'm a fan of this idea. I might have considered not pitting, JP. I'm surprised everyone came down. You know, you made the comment, clean air is king and passing is difficult. I might have stayed out and see what happened. Yeah, I might get passed up a little bit here, but I don't know.
Well, we have about 28 minutes to go. Brett Adams, Patrick Calgill, Nick Hutton, Austin Hunter, Kevin McGarvey, Jamie Graham, your top 6.
It's interesting, though. I say I wouldn't pit from up here, but I'm for sure if I was in that seat, JP, I'd want tires.
iRacing pace truck is off. Green flag is out, backing away. Brett Adams with a good launch. And that's the launch that Brett needed to be able to get it clear already. Calgill able to hold on to second.
Yeah, no rules in PRL about lane changes before the line, so what Brett Adams did is perfectly okay to get up there and move to the top lane. Look at this side-by-side racing back here for 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th on back. See lots of side-by-side. Get a loose car. That's McGarvey deep into the grass.
McGarvey in the wall. We stay green. McGarvey has destroyed the left front, though, on the 77. So his chance of a good finish may be done and dusted. Back to dead last with no caution to save him.
And that's so difficult, JP. It's a matter of just getting on the throttle too soon. It's a matter of just have the transition of the banking out of that corner. And once that slide starts, especially through the grass where there's less grip, you're just sort of a passenger. Watch this here. Just going to sit it, slide here. Whoop, there it goes.
Whoopsie daisy.
Oh, man, he almost had it.
Just couldn't get it to bite back in the right spot. And now the top 2 run away. Graham already looking hungry, though. He wants 3rd.
Yeah, he does want 3rd. Look at that Calgill now with the fastest lap. We should point out, PRL does give you a point for pole, gives you a point for fastest lap as well. So it does matter here if you can get that fastest lap. And if you're Patrick Calgill who wants to have another season title, that matters.
Zach Burke, by the way, on the 2-tire call. Not doing too badly. He's trying to top line, mind you. Oh, Zach Panzarella gets spooked off of the line.
Man, that was spooky for even the cars behind him, because I thought for sure that truck was headed somewhere with that Boston Celtics-esque color scheme he has going on this season. I got to be honest, JP, I miss the puppy.
Jamie Graham able to take his puppy into 3rd. Does have the Husky.io sponsorship that has a Husky look on the front. But Graham, this is now the test. Can he close up and join Calgill and Adams for the race lead fight in the Murphy Esports car truck?
Well, and the good news for him is that they're all on equal equipment. So this is pure driver skill versus driver skill. There's no tire difference. There's no pit strategies involved. There's no ifs, mans, buts, maybes, or whatever else. It's purely all about what he can do versus them. Now, let me tell you, last time... Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was about to say, Zach Burt just about looped it down off of turn 4 this past time by. He's now being zipped on by Beaver and company. You were saying, though.
I was going to say, last time by the way, let's take a look at it. From your leader on back, Brett Adams at 22.5. Calgill at 22.44. And then Jamie Graham is a 22.4 flat. So he is gaining time lap by lap on his competitors. So he's going to close that margin here more. But now you see Burnt starting to show some signs of difficulty here. Looking now with side by side with Panzarella, that was close right there. But they separate. Burnt's just trying to hold on for dear life. And may not be happy with that 2-tire call.
Yeah, Mike Toomer Jr. already putting him under pressure. You have Marty Calvert, who did not get a great starting spot because of the non-qualifying that he had. He's right now just trying the second and third group, seeing what's different.
Yeah, why not? Why not see if you can either learn that already exists or make it exist? Remember, with some of the new models in iRacing in the past year or so, there is such a thing as wearing in a line or rubbering in a line. You don't have to go with just what people want to do. If you get enough trucks up there in that middle lane, you can make it a thing.
Yeah, right now not making a thing though. Back to the bottom. Burt still yet to get passed by Toomer Jr. It's not a matter of when, it's if possibly though, because Burt, there it is, he's in the wall.
Yeah, unfortunately for him, just having a very tough time, and this is a tough track. I don't want to blame just the 2-tire call. I mean, there's a lot of drivers having a lot of problems this week with this new car combination. Remember, it's a new aero package as well that we're still learning, you know, in this season of truck racing. So this track feels a little different than maybe it has in the past, and I'm guessing in our interviews later that'll come up as a topic about how different these trucks feel.
Oh, it's been a conversation point over the radios and officials too. Just people not used to the loose feeling. And that's the thing I've noticed about the trucks. I'm not sure if you've noticed. They tend to drive loose and more off the rear with the less side force than that they ever did, because with the side force, people said it was too tight with fixed racing.
Yeah, which is sort of different in a way because, you know, typically the Grand Nationals were known as the loosest of the 3 NASCAR vehicles, but it feels like the trucks are sort of starting to get up there a little bit in that conversation. Here's Mike Toomer, by the way, trying the bottom lane against Marty Calvert, but no, oh, hold on, Calvert big into the wall, Toomer into him, no caution, but that is going to be a big hit for Marty Calvert.
And he is demolished on the right front and the left rear. Mike Toomer Jr. ends up getting away with it. No, he doesn't. His nose is crushed.
And isn't that just a great example, JP, of how fast things happen here at a short track? Mike Toomer had no idea. No warning signs, no ability to defend himself. Just sort of happened.
Whoa.
There was, hold on.
That's Nick Hunter.
Hunter, who just into the wall very hard.
Just got helped into the wall, apparently, with Austin Hunter, and he's coming down. Meatball flags,
Wow.
Calvert and Nick Hunter.
Let's watch this first. This will be with Calvert and Toomer. Look at that. Toomer nowhere to go. I mean, you can't blame him for that contact. He just was an innocent victim. Beaver's very apologetic to Mike Toomer right now about what happened. Now, this second one I want to see again, because that Hunter on Hunter action happened abruptly, and I kind of missed it, to be honest.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, not clear. Hello. Did you, like, I don't know, like a sibling rival, like you took his bed or ate his favorite candy or something? That was, I'm not saying that was intentional, JP, but that was a bit of a nasty move. I don't know.
Yeah,
We'd have to see it. We'd have to see it from Austin Hunter's view, but it kind of, to me, feels like Hunter came down and sort of clipped the back rear fender of his brother.
Well, either way, they're both out. Here's the look you were asking for.
Goes up high, and I don't know. That's maybe a little bit more coming together than I thought it was, but that's.
So both of them now in the pit lane for substantial time. Marty Calvert also picked up a black flag on his entry. That's going to see him in for a lengthier amount of time compared to what the others will have. Brett Adams, meanwhile, he's led them all so far. He's doing a perfect job up front.
Yeah, he's led basically every lap here and doing a pretty great job at running around it. And good news for him, none of those were cautions, because that could change how this race behaves if a yellow flag does come out again. But man, oh man, just wow, big couple moments there in this race here. Halfway through the race, and a couple moments of calamity there. Here's Burnt, by the way, back in those 2 tires, now getting passed on the inside, almost 3 wide here at Richmond.
Oh, Doyle. Lawrence got very low on the track this time.
Whoa.
And nearly pushed up into Hilton.
Especially almost got too high at the track at the same time, right? That was kind of crazy.
So the painter able to keep the paintbrush within the lines though. And now that sees him all the way back in 14th position as a result of the slide. He's not been able to get anywhere since the start of this race. He was one of those not allowed to qualify and has not made up the ground at all.
Now, I think that'll kind of be the story of the night with all respect to everybody here. Watch him here now behind Burnt. Doing okay. Over the movement in front of him. I suspect we're going to find that slide here in a moment in the replay. But we'll see here. You know, I want to come back to that topic about the trucks being looser, by the way, JP, because what surprised me about this for the season, you know, when you and I talked to Patrick Cowgill, he said he loves a loose setup. He loves loose race cars. He hates tight race cars, so on and so forth. And that's okay. But I'm surprised that for someone who loves loose race cars, that he's having a harder time this season.
There's a difference between loose enough to rotate, you would have to argue, and having a truck that is wrecking loose.
Yeah, I mean, that's true too. I agree with you. Loose is, of course, a very, pardon the pun, a very loose term as far as, you know, the definition of it. So you're right about that. But look at this. What's not a loose term is how close this is getting. Jamie Graham, lap by lap, so that Jaws music in the background is playing to Patrick Cowgill, because Jamie Graham is making up ground.
Take a look at Graham, contact, and spinning. Cowgill and Graham both spin around. Caution flag is out. Cowgill runs to the back of Graham twice over, and now we're back under yellow.
Wow. Cowgill did not look happy there. I went just the way he sort of moved that truck post-track. You can kind of see the frustration. And Patrick Cowgill at Jamie Graham, but they're both running, they're both moving, they've both lost some spots, but hey, in the grand scheme of a Richmond wreck, you know, don't get me wrong, you should be upset, but they're both okay. Watch it again here. Graham's going to get a great run in. Maybe digs in where he doesn't have the space, but you could also argue Cowgill was kind of blocking a little, but I put that more on Graham.
That spin cost them some spots on the racetrack, all the way back to 7th and 8th place, respectively. And some apologies again over the radio popping up. That's going to add to the penalty sheet, possibly, to cause a caution. So, now, less than 16 minutes to go. No one else rolling the dice yet. Brett Adams, Mike Richter comes out second.
That's got to be a two-tire call. There's no way that's not. Looking at the pit stop time, and I don't know. That's enough time for a four-tire stop, JP. Did he just get a better run in or out? I don't know, but I start to say two tires, but his pit stop time is on par with everybody else.
So all of a sudden, Richter joins the Richter scale of the battle. He had been running about 4th or 5th prior to the caution flag. Here's our look at the reason for the caution.
Yeah, just he's got in there a little too deep, a little too happy, a little too excited, and made the contact. You could argue he had the better run, the better laps. Here's Cowgill. I think there's a small bump after the wreck, just kind of saying, hey, it's not really appreciated. It's not how I want to race you. And they're both okay, but yeah, at the end of the day, that's on Jamie Graham. If you're going to dig it in there, you got to have the space for it. And if you're faster than someone, it is your job to make the pass responsibly. It's not Cowgill's job to move for you.
Less than 15 minutes to go on the clock, meanwhile. Austin Hunter, Zach Panzarella. He's looking a lot better than he made his SOF debut tonight, by the way, Derek, in terms of C-Fix competition. He didn't finish well. He was dead last in the end as the last driver in the split. In fact, he crashed on his own down the straightaway without a caution flag. looks like he's learned the lessons that he needed to learn from the officials this week.
Yeah, Zach's done a bunch of officials this week, and you know, it's had some moments of greatness and it had some moments of frustration. It's been kind of up and down, a bit of a roller coaster for Zach, but you know, someone whose iRating is growing, not that that matters in PRL in a private league too much, but his iRating is growing, and you know, he's finding some new competitors, and I think that new field of competition is both pushing him and frustrating him at the same time, because now you want to be as good as those guys, but at first, you know, it's different. You go from being the big fish in a small pond to the small fish in the big pond, and it's just a different level of racing, right? So great job for him, up to P4. I mean, Mike Richter's up here, Austin Hunter's up here, you know, Jamie Graham's still up here, by the way. So with about 13 minutes left, I don't think we're done with the excitement.
Yeah, I was to wonder if in those cases too, it's small fish in a piranha tank, with how much top split can get and how vicious it can be. But tonight, it's been relatively clean outside a couple cautions here. 13 minutes on the clock, about 37 laps on the board if we stay green. Brett Adams underway, already to the top. Mike Richter holds on to second. Zach Panzarella looks for third.
And they come barreling off the corner. Everyone looks okay so far. And Kevin McGarvey's going to kind of half spin it out of the corner, but he'll be okay. Man, look at Richter up here trying to hold his own against our race leader.
Loose moment front straight away. The 27 Austin Hunter down the racetrack. And regather it up, and Graham now looks high side, looks for the squeeze on Austin.
Oh, there's Cowgill on the bottom. He got loose, maybe a little bit of help even. And Cowgill's went from having a great night to now just being frustrated in a matter of about 5 minutes. Oh, hold on. Hello, almost made contact of his own.
About ran over the Philmar truck. New fast lap, Brett Adams. He puts up his qualifying times. Oh, in contact, Graham into Panzarella.
And maybe had a little help from Austin Hunter in the back. There's the 9 around. And that is Doyle Lawrence. And right now we stay green. Let's see if he can get that truck turned around on his own before the field comes back around. Man, it's 3 wide. What is going on here? Did someone press the excitement button?
It's like that Staples button where you end up having things come to be as soon as you press it. Graham, he's trying to press Mr. Excitement up to third in front of Panzarella. Lap traffic in front of the leaders as well.
And Panzarella now trying to cross over here. Not going to be in there deep enough for it yet, but he'll stay side by side, I think, here. Yep. And Graham will be clear. Man, it's really picked up here in the past 2 minutes of racing. Let's watch this here first off. This will be how Lawrence gets turned around. Yeah, it's kind of pinched himself. Just was too wide. It was burnt on the outside, and I didn't see any contact from that view, but got himself looped around. Got it saved, though, in time to where no caution came out.
Lap traffic taking the high side, by the way, as Panzarella works to the bottom. Despite everything, still a solid race for him. Speaking of solid, Brennan Chatley looking to find his way around Beaver now.
Man, look at this herd of cars up here. This, I mean, that's Adams, that's Richter, that's Graham, Panzarella, and others, but it's just so tight and close right now. And man, again, that's going to be Hunter and Panzarella side by side. Austin Hunter's having a great run tonight.
Yeah, Hunter trying to send it. Not able to lick the stamp hard enough, but able to keep it single filed out now as Cowgill tries to get around Alex Hillman. This is for 6th.
Cowgill has to recover this night. Cowgill already has a pretty low drop number on the season, JP, so he really can't think and act as if he has a drop week available to him. He has to get every point possible here left in this race.
Less than 10 minutes to work with again on the track. Up front, Adams, Richter. Mike Richter, he's doing a solid job after not having the track position all race. He's showing, you give him track position, he can cook.
Yeah, doing a great job, isn't he? We've seen Mike Richter be up here before, and I think we've seen him win a race before, in fact, in the past season or so. So we know he can do it. Man, Brett Adams just appears to be right now just like in another skill level, another time zone, another zip code, another whatever you want to call it, because he has not let loose of that lead all night long.
Yeah, but the thing is going to be, Graham is coming, and it's coming pretty hard. He is right now one of the fastest trucks on the track too. The next pack, Panzarella, Austin Hunter, Patrick Cowgill grouped together.
Yeah, right now Patrick Cowgill is trying to just save this and manage this. I mean, P6 will not be a bad night, and that may be what he has to tell himself right now in his head. Hey, listen, I'm P6. I'm okay. You know, we're not back at the end of the field. We're not 18th, 19th, whatever. But when you're a driver, it's hard to have that conversation by yourself, and it's hard to convince yourself that you're doing okay after someone spun you around like that. Here's a slow car. That's Zachary Burnt having a hard time here. Almost on that yellow line, JP. But now he's doing okay.
A little bit better since the caution flag. He is still holding on to his own now that he's on 4 tires. He's right now actually trying to battle with Stacey Hunter a little bit. So, back up front. Graham, he's looking for second, but Mike Richter is holding on to a solid defense so far.
Yeah, Richter's doing a great job here. And so right now, what Richter may have to do is think about what's more important, going and winning this race or keeping second, because winning this race and defending your spot are 2 separate tasks. They're not all tied together. And maybe if you're happy with second, you just have to kind of defend against Jamie Graham and accept that maybe you don't catch Brett Adams in the process, or you go full bore and try and catch Brett Adams, but maybe leave the door open for Jamie Graham to get around you.
How does Graham open the door without getting a crowbar out and causing a caution like last time?
Oh, you just stay, you be a menace, right? You just be a problem, not in a way of making contact, but you get as close as humanly possible to that back mirror of Mike Richter. You remind him you're there. You do everything you can just to put the pressure on it. Make Mike Richter overthink it. Oh, there's a truck. That's Austin Hunter. Who's having a great night. He now was in the wall and now cut the grass here. Man, I'll tell you, JP, the landscaper has the day off tomorrow.
I don't think Austin Hunter hit the wall, but he did landscape the grass. Let's take a look. There's that loose moment again.
Oh, right under Patrick Cowgill. And let's take a look. No, you're right. A little bit of a leap there, but you're right. Kept it off the wall, but yeah, the groundskeeper has the day off because these guys have mowed the grass all night long.
He's now right into a battle for 11th, in fact, Mike Toomer Jr., but up front, less than 7 minutes on the clock. Richter starting to lose ground. Jamie Graham starting to lose ground too. He still cannot find a way around. Hearing that Mike Richter got in the wall out of 2 last time by.
Let's take a look at this here. Yep, little bit. All things considered, a good wall hit. He sort of bounced off of it. I tell you, sometimes in iRacing, there's walls that hug you and walls that bounce you. And luckily, Mike Richter found one that bounced him off. Remember, look at that gap here. You're right. That gap is increasing. Brett Adams now has pulled over half a second on these 2. And if you're Jamie Graham, let's take a look. Last time by was faster. He's got to be mad at that car. Not mad at Mike Richter specifically, but mad at knowing he's the faster car and he could possibly catch Brett Adams. But he needs to get around Mike Richter.
Yeah, right now, this is almost one of those, he's losing ground the more he gets stuck back here kind of situations. But there's still only 14 estimated laps to get a pass done here. And Graham starting to send it very deep. Goes all the way up the track.
Let's see if he can maybe make the pass on the outside. Look at that big slide, though. Whew, that was like a Tokyo Drift power slide right there. He performed out of that corner. He's just trying something different. Or what he wants to do is make Mike Richter think that's what he wants to do. He wants to make Mike Richter think he has to defend the top. And then maybe Graham slides in under the bottom. Pulls away a P2. Let's find out here. But yeah, oh man, look at Graham again, just loose. Just that car's, you see that back end is sort of fishtailing around down the backstretch. I think Graham has used up whatever he had, JP.
Yeah, it's looking like that now, especially since they're both losing ground compared to Panzarella and Cowgill, who are slowly walking into this conversation too.
And I'll tell you what, with where we are here, 4 minutes on the clock, I'd say within the next minute or so, maybe even now, we're at that point where the caution ends the race. We're at the point where we probably don't go green again, but here's a pass. Now Jamie Graham's on the bottom. Let's see if he handles the bottom, how he does with Mike Richter here. Nope.
Yeah. Mike Richter just had a bad front straight away. Graham not able to take advantage of it. Less than 4 minutes on the clock, about 10 estimated to go.
Yeah, we're done here. If a yellow comes out, there's no way we get through our pace laps and get it going again. So whatever happens here happens. It's not, everyone's got to kind of keep that in mind and making the last minute moves you want to make, because you never quite know when this race is going to be over with the possibility of a yellow flag coming out here. So Jamie Graham's trying to keep right there. Keep all over Mike Richter. He's not touching him. But man, if you can see a Mike Richter's mirror right now, there is nothing but Jamie Graham's face in that mirror.
Trying to poke it outside. And yet again, the outside just not there. It seems as though... Go ahead.
Go ahead. But look at this right here, and sorry, the camera shot. I didn't mean to cut you off. Look at that green machine there. That car kind of looks like it's amphibious, like it is like a lizard or a snake is live in land or water, whatever you wanted to do. But it's coming up quickly, JP. It is lurking. Every time these guys get side by side, Zach Panzarella gets a little closer in this battle.
Lap traffic ahead as well to join the fray. Oh, that changed the dynamic well. It is a Wetterback teammate. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. There goes Graham's rear tires again.
Yeah, Graham at this point needs to think about maybe holding his own spot here. They see Nick Hunter up on the outside, back on track here. But at this point, maybe Jamie Graham needs to think about, is third place what he wants? Because one or two more slides like that, and he might give up third place to Zach Panzarella.
Under 2 minutes to go. Right now, it's Graham. Rounds to the inside again. Slots up, nearly gets loose again. And Panzarella, I think Panzarella's out of time. Graham is just about out of time himself with less than about 90 seconds, give or take, coming up here on the clock.
Oh, I agree. Even up, like if these guys just are able to race and not have any mistakes, I would probably think Panzarella's out of time. But Panzarella's only one Jamie Graham slide, one Jamie Graham wall hit, one Jamie Graham mistake away from maybe taking the spot here. And he's not making it easy for Graham. He is making himself known and felt in that car.
But he's been doing that all season. That's kind of the point. He's kind of proven himself to be very strong in this series.
Yeah, he has. I mean, obviously the strongest person in this series is Brett Adams, our leader. He's going to walk away and just extend that lead here by all accounts. But man, Jamie Graham's having a heck of a time there trying to hold on to this machine.
Look at one of the air battles. Kevin McGarvey, Tom Massey. McGarvey able to get to 13th despite the wall hit and not getting the caution flag earlier.
Back up front here. This is second, third, and fourth. Panzarella is right there, JP. I mean, he can sniff the back bumper of his competitor right now, and it's sort of letting Mike Richter get away from him a little bit. We're coming to the white flag here.
White flag is out. Final time around from Richmond. Does Panzarella have anything up his sleeve for Graham? Already Graham trying to block Panzarella off in the battle for third spot. Trying to steal away a podium. Oh, this, wow, they come into the checker flag here. Panzarella tries high side, not going to work. Brett Adams is going to work. Green to checker. Brett Adams wins at Richmond.
Wow, that was a close distance, or relative, or whatever you call it, between Graham and Panzarella. I think Graham got loose at the line, and luckily for him, that was the last lap, because one more lap, and I think Panzarella had him.
So, let's take a look at what happened between Zach Byrne and one of the Hunters. Oh, that's a spin.
Oh, that is a massive spin right there. I want to see that again here and see what happened between the two of them because I kind of want to see who hit who, but regardless, you can tell right now who's hitting what is Brett Adams hitting the loud pedal and celebrating here at Richmond.
Brett Adams gets to burn it on down. Here's another look at what happened at the flag stand.
I mean, honestly, at that point, I think Hunter came up. I mean, Zach Pert was all the way up against the wall. Like, short of going and taking a seat in the crowd, JP, there's nowhere else he could have been, you know, higher than where he was.
Let's take a look at the race results here as Brett Adams gets the job done tonight. For the third time this season, he wins in the PRL. Mike Richter, Jamie Graham, Zach Panzarello, and Patrick Calgill, your top 5 here tonight. Calgill at one point running as high as the top 2. Then Alex Hillman in 6th. Phil Beaver gets to 7th. Brennan Chatley in 8th. Zach Burt in 9th. And Austin Hunter gets himself a top 10 despite the spin. Stacy Hunter finishes in 11th. Mike Toomer Jr. back in 12th. McGarvey, Amassey, and Dewey, those are the lead lap. Lawrence finished a lap down in 16th. 13 down for Nick Hunter. Also done laps down Marty Calvert and Barron Hilton rounded out the running order here in this one. Brett Adams 1 point also picked up the fastest lap, so that's going to help his championship efforts. As Brett Adams is now standing on by Brett. You build on the points lead, win number 3. How's it feel?
It feels great. I don't think I've had one like that where I've led lap flag to flag, so that was a lot of fun out there.
Why do you think this track gelled so well to your style, if that's the case, and why?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I was really just trying to manage the gap. I knew those guys were going to be having hard runs. So I tried to keep about 4/10, and if I got a little in front of that, I'd slow it down. If they got a little closer, I'd speed it up a bit. But I felt like just managing the gap was kind of the key here. I said last week you qualify well and stay up front, and that's what we did.
Still, though, we go road course racing next week. Your thoughts on the Glen?
I love that track. I'm not a great road racer, but if I had to pick a road course to race, it'd be that one, so I'm excited about it.
And a shout out you'd like to give after this one?
Absolutely. To my kids, Parker, Hudson, and Lennon, my wife, Lindsay, are out in the other room, and of course to you guys for always putting on a great show.
Congratulations on the win tonight, Brett.
Thanks, guys.
Brett Adams picks up the win tonight. Mike Richter comes away second. He's with Derek.
Mike, what a great run tonight. It sort of came, I don't want to say out of nowhere at the end, but definitely got your way towards the front as the race went on. That looked crazy out there. That looked difficult.
It was. I ran a couple of officials this last couple of days, and all the races at Richmond have been crazy.
So what do you think led to you having success here tonight?
Getting in the rhythm. This track's really dependent on that. Just, getting super focused, hyper focused, and just hitting your marks lap after lap because they go by so quick. And, next thing you know, you got 80 laps in, and you're like, where did that come from? So being consistent and just doing that. And
yeah. So the last 10 laps or so, there was a battle going on sort of behind you between Graham and Panzarello. What could you see from your mirror about that battle, and what it looked like from your perspective?
all I know is I wanted to keep him behind me because I burned up my stuff trying to get to Brett and was putting some pressure on him, and then saw Jamie coming, and then I saw Zach up behind him, and then they started getting into it, and then I could pull away from him. So it was good. It was good racing up front for those last couple laps. So I bet it was exciting to watch.
It was fun to watch. Well, listen, great job tonight in that Wadaback machine. We go racing next on the road course known as Watkins Glen. How excited are you?
I love it. I do some endurance racing and sports car stuff there. I've always loved Watkins Glen. I've always loved racing this truck on the road. So I'm much looking forward to it, and maybe I'll get that elusive win finally.
There you go. Well, great job tonight. Anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thanks to?
Yeah, my parents that are always watching, all the Waterback guys. We week in and week out. Love them guys. You guys at RaceSpot and everybody that makes PRL what it is. Thanks, everybody.
All right. Well, great job tonight. We'll see you next week.
Thanks.
All right. That's Mike Richter, driver of that Waterback 51 machine, JP. Finished P2.
Third spot today went the way of Jamie Graham. And Jamie, an eventful race for you once again. How would you describe the battles that you had to go through to get to third tonight?
Exhausting, I guess would be the best word. Track got really tight as the runs went on, so it kind of got hard to hold the bottom, but it seemed the bottom was the fastest lane, so kind of had to build momentum on the top, and that's how I ended up in the Cowgill. So I want to apologize to him for first of all taking us both out of a chance to fight for the lead. That wasn't how I intended that to go. But yeah, exhausting, tough. There at the end against Richter, I tried to outrun as best I could, and just I didn't have anything for him, and really ended up burning my tires off. So it was good the run wasn't all that long. But yeah, it was a tough race. I'm sitting here sweating, but had fun. I guess we're continuing like a 3-week stretch of continuing to be a menace. So try and straighten that up. But P3, we'll be happy about that and move on to next week.
All right, since you brought up that potential of being a menace here, how do you not be a menace? How do you reduce those chances of becoming what you just said?
I think it really, for me, it's hard. It comes down to spatial awareness, and I'm not going to make excuses for myself, but being on monitors, there's only so much you can see, and field of view is so important and stuff like that. So it's just kind of really comes down to practice and learning from situations like this, where I think I have a nose in on them, and I think I'm gonna be able to get under them in the turn, and I really don't. So as tough as situations are like this to be in, taking a guy like Patrick out of contending for a win or a top 3, and I guess kind of putting a red X on your forehead, that's just kind of how I got to do it, I guess. But yeah, just practice. Backing out of more situations, it seemed like there's more risk than reward, just that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's all I can really think of. It stinks. I don't mean to do stuff like that, and but it happens. We'll learn from it.
Watkins Glen's next. Your thoughts on the Glen?
Not a big road course guy. I've never raced a road course in this truck, so there's going to be a lot of practice done this week. Really just gonna hope for the best and try and make more friends than enemies next week, as hard as that may be. But yeah.
So on that note, anyone you want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, shout out to the guys on my hood, Hosky, some friends of mine, Greg and Cardano Shep on Twitter. Well, actually, Bone Pool on Twitter and Cardano Shep on Twitter. Really committed sponsors of mine. They stay behind me. They seem to like when I get in trouble, which is kind of it's an odd relationship, not wanting to get in trouble, but then when you get in trouble, they're excited. So I'm sure they had fun seeing me hit somebody. I didn't really have fun hitting somebody, but they'll be happy to see that we actually finished in the top 3 instead of spun around and on fire. But yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to Brian Murphy, my team owner, and my family. Everybody's watching. Yeah, thanks everybody for witnessing me do questionable things.
Well, congratulations once again on the top 3 tonight.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Jamie Graham coming away in third spot here tonight. I'd like to thank the entire top 3 for taking time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on Race Spot for the Truck Series. Your thoughts on the truck race, Derek, as in the end, Brett Adams dominates.
Yeah, whether it be the track or the trucks or the drivers, a lot of menacing happening tonight, to steal Jamie Graham's word. I like that word. So I had fun. It was maybe a cleaner race than you and I were fearful of, but a great race overall, and it sort of helped set the final piece of the puzzle of who may win this season title.
And once again, 8:30 p.m. will be the start time when we get back to racing for the trucks next week. That'll be August the 14th here on Race Spot. But that brings us to the second half of our card. Welcome everybody to iRacing's virtual Chicagoland Speedway as we begin our second portion of the night. The PRL Grand National Series goes racing here on the 1.5 mile, and Joliet, Illinois. And this is
Yeah.
the 6th round of the season here, Derek, for this series.
And now we get to sort of, after this, we flip the schedule, right? The trucks already did their runs at Michigan and Daytona, but the Grand Nationals have not been there yet. So that's going to be the fun. It's Michigan, it's Daytona, it's Darlington, these last couple of races. So I'm excited for this. I feel like this is going to be a great race.
It should hopefully be a good race indeed tonight, as Abner Acosta looks to run away with the championship over Zach Kerr and Bradley Hawley. Right now, 192 points for Acosta, 169 for Kerr. Ted Lowendick and Jeff Ward in your top 5 in the point standings. James O'Brien's also showed good flashes of speed, including last week. He's in 6th. Ross Cato, Sink, Dunn, Bumgarner, your top 10 in standings. How are things looking on the team side? Well, private label team hype yet again, top of the board. Whataback Racing TNT and Whataback Racing Overdrive, your top 3. Appear on Racing Next Esports in 4th. Tabitha Rossi Esports, the top 5. 200 Club also features 6box and Whataback Racing Back Row in that club. Qualifying underway for tonight. Take a look at Nathan Deering as he works from the high side. An interesting driver roster tonight because we have a new starter. And it's going to be one you're familiar with in eNASCAR competition. eNASCAR former pro Blake Reynolds is starting tonight.
Yeah, Blake's decided to sign up for the rest of the season. Had a chance to do some practice laps, I think, with Jeff Evans and Ted Lowendick, and I think James O'Brien last night as well, and decided to sign up here. Adam's, of course, part of a team that sort of merged in with the PRL road endurance teams, and so there are lots of friendships, lots of partnering. So I'm excited to see what Blake Adams can do here and what may come of this whole racing, in this league. And with only 4 races left of the Grand Nationals, why not put a big name in here and to see if we can shake it up a little bit. But here we are.
No shock, top of the board, 31.5 already. And he's with Nitro Circus these days, a big part of their organization that competes in various different series, including now in the Coke Series. So right now, Reynolds electing to keep it against the wall. That seems to be the play because of how much momentum is carried off the corner, at least in qualifying.
Yeah, look how fast he gets down here onto that apron and gets that speed on that flat part of the track and then comes back around here. So doing a pretty great job, all things considered.
Jeff Ward in 2nd spot currently in qualifying. More drivers hit the track. Here's Bradley Hawley. He's trying the top as well.
Look at that. And I got corrected last week, by the way. That's a teal green is what I was told by Bradley after the race. You see the lights in his room. If we get the webcams up, will match that car paint. And I got corrected last week or 2 weeks ago. It is in fact teal. But I am, I guess, in a way speechless or shocked that everyone is running that high lane, JP. Everyone's up against the wall trying to get all that momentum. It's almost like we're super speedway qualifying.
And Hawley doesn't look so comfortable. He is drifting a lot off the rear tires compared to what we've seen with Reynolds.
Yeah, and the risk you run by running that top line in qualifying is if you drift too much and you tank slap that wall, you could invalidate these qualifying runs. That's how the qualifying system works in iRacing. So this is really the definition of risk versus reward and trying out this strategy.
31.6 for Hawley. Looking at the rest of the drivers as well, Richard Regan Jr., he is in the field tonight. He should be one of those battling up possibly with Blake tonight.
Yeah, Regan made his return last week after not starting the season. So a little bit of a return, I guess you say, for Richard Regan. Not a surprising return. I think a bunch of us knew he'd be back at some point, but came back here and really did a great job at the short track of walking away with it. I'm curious how well he does at this track. Not that he's not a great driver, but short tracks are sort of Richard's thing in a lot of ways, JP. So we'll see that. Here's one of those Tabitha Rasa cars, the number 12 machine. And this is going to be a great run here. Hopefully qualifying off. Maybe this track out a little bit more as that 12 car. See if we can find some more speed. That's James Morgan, by the way.
Starts at 31.7s, and he's going with the Contra strat, Derek. He's using the bottom.
Well, it's about comfort sometimes, right? If you're not comfortable up there, it doesn't matter how much faster it is. You want to make sure you put in a queue time so you're not at the back of the field. Watch him here now, almost down to that white lane. And watch how much he's fighting that car. Lets it drift back up here. Whew. Lots of fighting in that wheel there, down to the flat lane. Let's see where it puts him. Wait for the qualifying board to update. P8 on the board for James Morgan.
He's going to be your last driver to set a qualifying time. Once those not qualifying on time, Kalen, Medina, Dunn, Morales, Smith, and McLaughlin. Let's take a look at the starting grid for tonight here from Chicagoland. Richard Regan Jr., Blake Reynolds, your front row. Regan Jr., his laps win in the 31.4s. Jeff Evans and Jeff Ward, the battle of the Jeffs in row 2. Zach Kerr, row 3, alongside Abner Acosta. Then it's James O'Brien and James Morgan, 7th and 8th. Ross Cato in 9th. Dustin Bumgarner, a top 10 starting spot. Bradley Holly way far behind in 11th tonight, alongside Ted Lowendick. 13th went to Doug Evans, Nathan Deering, Adam Zemke, and Colton Lane, 15th and 16th. In 17th, Mike Knight, Thomas Sink in 18th position. Rounding out the drivers that did not set times, Mark Kalin and the Bossman Racing Machine, Jose Medina in 6-box equipment, Tyler Ross's Jacob Dunn, Rodrigo Morales, Mikey Smith, and Nick McLaughlin, your 24 starters tonight. That's all top to bottom at the running order here tonight. As we get set for 55 minutes of racing, your keys to a good run tonight here, Derek.
I think it's going to be managing the unknown, JP. It's going to be, this is a track that we don't come to a whole lot. Obviously, it's not a track run in real life NASCAR at this moment, and I don't think there's any plans for that to change in the moment. So this isn't a track that's heavy in rotation, at least not for the Grand Nationals. So there's going to be a little bit of unknown as this race unfolds about how to handle this car and what may or may not happen to the track. So managing that unknown, being ready to move lanes, being ready to make a tire call, being ready to do whatever you have to do, probably will prove pretty successful tonight.
And the track temperatures as well are pretty toasty. 113 in sim, 82 Fahrenheit is the air temperature, so it's going to be pretty slick.
Yeah, that's going to be difficult, right? That's about, what, 30, almost 40 degrees higher than our last race. So this is going to be a slick track here. So we'll see how well they manage that top lane forever, because when these cars, the tires wear off, the tires get slicker, it'll be harder and harder to hold on to that car, I would think.
Who's your pick for tonight and why?
Well, this is going to sound like a homer pick, but I'm going for Morgan. Morgan just went out about an hour and a half ago and won an official B fixed or Grand National fixed or Xfinity fixed race at this track. So I'm hoping that momentum carries over. But I mean, Morgan's had a bit of a rough run. So as that team name at Tabula Rasa suggests, JP, he needs to have a clean slate. Forget about the rest of the season. Forget about what has or hasn't happened. And just take this one race at a time.
Happy with this here at Race Spot for coverage of the PRL Grand National Series. So we get set for racing for 55 minutes from Chicagoland. More than 100 laps expected here if it goes green. Green flag is out. We're underway from Joliet. First lap went to Regan Jr. Now up to second, Zach Kerr. That inside line, the line for racing.
Yeah, right now it has proven the line, but look at Zach Kerr up top is now going to make the pass on Regan, and basically does have him cleared right there. So Zach Kerr used that momentum of the higher lane and got around Regan, and now hoping to lead this time around.
Battle with tire wear. Keep in mind, higher you go, the more likely you burn it up early. Right now, Jeff Evans forced up there with Jeff Ward. Abner Acosta in the mix. Ted Lowendick as well, as Regan Jr. tries to run bottom. Kerr misses the bottom.
Yeah, great top 5 here. Kerr, Regan, Evans, Blake Reynolds, Jeff Ward, even Lowendick in 6, Abner's in 7. This is the who's who of PRL right here, with other names in the back. Morgan's back there. I mean, this is just a star-studded field where anything could happen.
Ted Lowendick offset 3 wide. Able to get the zip. And lots of these people are not taking the time to think about saving the tires this early. People are not afraid to use them up.
Now you got to get up here and get the track position in and, you know, get yourself settled. And that's what they're doing here. 2 wide racing, multiple laps now. It's what, Jeff Evans up there. We see Morgan up there. I see Bradley Holly, James O'Brien. You know, there's Doug Evans back there in that green car. So people are just using whatever lane appears to be open.
Right now, the top line has a lot of openings. The reason I keep bringing up the tire wear side is, it looks like Reynolds is just trying to go with the save it for long run kind of method on debut, not wanting to push the tires too much here.
And I do know that, for example, you know, I told you last night that Blake Reynolds practiced with Evans and O'Brien, and a couple others, and Glove took part of that. And that was what they learned last night, was that, you know, Blake Reynolds and Jeff Evans really saved some tires, and they were much, much more successful in the long run than everyone else involved in that practice. So that may be what Blake Reynolds is thinking about, but right now it's just a frantic, chaotic kind of mood here. Man, it looks like we're super speedway racing here at Chicagoland almost.
Don't know if I'd say that, but we're pack racing for the time being, at least. Speaking of drivers making runs, Morgan is up to 3rd as others go offset 3.
Yeah, you're right. Pack racing may be the better descriptor there, but look at this. There's Jacob Dunn now trying to get around the vehicle. He almost thought about making it 3 wide there in that purple machine in the middle of your camera shot. Everyone's on the move. No one is thinking about anything strategy related other than getting forward as fast as possible. So everyone's prepared to have to make that pit stop here. But look at that. There's, was that James? That's not James O'Brien. There's Bradley Holly back there in that green machine. And he's running down Blake Reynolds, actually. I apologize. I got the name wrong there. New name. I hadn't memorized the paint yet.
Regan Jr. is also doing the same thing. He's gone backwards. Holly, he just wants track position. Likes to run bottom for now, but is really, really fast on throttle. Doug Evans nearly the wall.
And looky here. That's Bradley Holly we're looking at with the camera shot down here in the bottom right of your screen. And watch the wheel movement in this Grand National car. As he gets down to the corner here, it's like he's like cutting a log with a saw down there, JP. And here's now what he sees in his own monitor. This is a great shot that Bradley Holly has given us here. He sees nothing but car in front of him.
See right now the viewpoint in his windshield. The bottom's starting to come in a little bit. Just a little skosh.
Well, and it's not a surprise. I mean, with given how many drivers are running the bottom. You know, we talked in our last race, one of those new iRacing models from last year, or maybe early this year, was that, you know, as drivers, we can now create lanes. Hold on, that's 4 or 5 wide, JP. My goodness.
Semke Munzel's back there. You have Mark Kalin up the middle. 4 wide bumped. Hold on to it. Keep himself off sync. And that got a little bit scary.
Watch this here. That's Mark Kalin. Look at that smile. I would not be smiling. I would have been grimacing, groaning, in pain, or many other things if I'd have wiggled my car like that. But Mark's having a lot of fun, driving like a wildcat.
Absolutely wild. Thomas Sink. Again, a new week, a new paint scheme. His grinds machine going orange creamsicle tonight.
Yeah, doing a great job. Tom's one of the great painters here in the PRL and has a lot of fun. Not only painting for himself, but takes requests and paints for part of his Whataback teammates. And really helps out where he can, when he can. But up front, some different picture, JP. It's like 2 races going on here. Look at this. Up here, it's calm. It's quiet. It's relaxed. A little Kenny G music going on up here. You know, everyone's kind of in line. Back there is like heavy metal chaos.
Yeah, these people wanted the track position early, especially Kerr. And it's right now paying off very well, at least for Zach. Right now, his pace 36.6s up at the front. Of note, those who save tires in the pack are a 10th quicker.
Yeah, I mean, not a surprise there. Saving tires always is a benefit here. Look at that. So now it's Kerr, Lowendick, Morgan, Evans, Acosta. Your top 5. Ross Cato back here in P6. Ross has really taken on a lot of racing this season, done really well. So not a surprise to see Ross Cato up here. Here's a battle. This is Lowendick trying to get around Kerr, getting maybe a little help. Nope, now almost 3 wide offset. Morgan wants to lead.
He's going to get the chance for second, though, at least. Morgan outside, inside, Ted Lowendick. And of note, your leader is clutch and coasting.
Yeah, and that's kind of weird to me in a way for Zach Kerr because, I mean, everyone's going to make a gas stop here. There's no way you're going to clutch and coast enough to not pit stop here. So I'm kind of surprised. You know, every driver has their own belief and their own strategy, but the only reason you could get me to clutch and coast, JP, would be if you thought you could convince me that I could cut the pit stop off the race.
I almost wonder if he's just trying to play a strategy game here, or try and get it to where freshest tires wins later on, or anything along those lines. But it doesn't matter because Morgan's to the race to lead.
There we go. There's that green machine up front, that green number 12. Morgan had an incredible season, back in season 1, I think, JP, where he came really close to winning the title. And it's sort of fallen off a little bit since then. But, man, he's really showing some dominance here early, isn't he?
So here is Bradley Hawley battling now with Jacob Dunn. Dunn is really the only one choosing to go to the wall at the moment. Dunn started this race 21st position.
Yeah, that's what I say. If he keep up that wall and slapping like that, he will be done for the night. Is what he will be. But so far, doing well. Got around Bradley Hawley, and now he's got himself up here into P10. So listen, for a team like Tabi Tarasa, who, you know, they wanted to win this team title. That's why James Morgan went out and recruited the second driver. A night like this so far looks pretty good for those team points.
Really solid, if that. Morgan right now running 32.6s. Just half a second of fall off so far for much of this field. And Kerr has stopped clutch and coasting now that he's no longer the leader, by the way.
Well, now he's not the leader. He might have replaced easy for me to say, the clutch and coast for the draft. That might be the equivalent if he's trying to save gas here. Is I'll just take some draft off of Morgan and see if I can save nearly the same amount of gas, but see what he does here. Lowendick now starting to maybe drift a little outside. Is he trying to make a move or just having a hard time with the race car?
Can't quite tell, but Colton Lane right now trying to hold off some people for about 16th. Baumgartner and Kalen battling in his windshield mirrors.
Man, is this going to be one of those classic Mark Kalen tracks, JP? It feels like every now and then we come across a sort of a classic NASCAR track, and Mark Kalen just comes alive, doesn't he? Just places like here, you know, Charlotte, Kansas. Mark Kalen sort of comes alive and performs really, really well. Ooh, wow, look at that. That's Colton Lane, I believe, right ahead of him in the wall. And Mark Kalen had to be careful not to run him over.
Yeah, might have actually gave him a little bit of a boop, a little bit of a strip from Kalen. Too hard on the gas.
My goodness, was he wrestling in a bear in there? What was he doing with that wheel? Ah, that is scary. Like there was a bee inside there he was trying to avoid or something.
Looking back to Dunn. He's no longer on the top. He is going backwards. He just lost 3 spots as Acosta tries to gain one.
And here's Abner Acosta. We call him Mr. Long Run. If he gets a race that goes long, he somehow knows how to find that pace and that move to make things happen. Pulls up on top in front of Jeff Evans, and Evans tried to do the cutover, but could not make it happen.
Back to Jacob Dunn, though. He is all of a sudden going the wrong direction.
I wonder if he hit a wall or scrubbed a wall that we didn't see, because you're right, he is moving back and fast. So maybe just need to gather himself. You know, and unlike our last race at Richmond, JP, if you get some wall damage here, if you mess up the body of that car, you are going to feel it. This isn't Richmond where the aero doesn't matter. If you scrape that car up too bad, you're going to slow it down. It's going to be like there's like a parachute just hanging off the back of it.
Dunn, just like that's lost almost all the ground he's made up on the racetrack. He is loose.
Ooh,
overheated tires.
Yeah. Let's watch this back a second ago. Watch Jacob Dunn here in that purple and black machine. That's right in front of Bradley Holly. Touches the white line, and oh my gosh, how did he not hit Bradley Holly? And then from there, it just kind of went on forever. It was Holly, it was O'Brien, it was Deering, and others. Man, it's loose again. Now we know why he prefers the top lane, apparently.
Battle for the lead again. Kerr wants it back. Morgan forced up. Ted Lowendick also being pressurized by Acosta up front.
And the good news for Morgan. Sorry, go ahead.
Morgan not able to keep alongside. Kerr takes the lead. So what was that good news? No longer in the lead?
I was going to say the good news for a moment as he had a little bit of help behind him, a little bit of a draft or a push in Ted Lowendick, but not no more. And now they're in a line below him. And he may go back a couple spots here. That's Lowendick now past him. It's Abner Acosta in that sort of yellow banana machine below him. And now Morgan is back to third, maybe fourth here.
Yeah,
What's happened here? Look at this.
Ted's going for the lead now. Lowendick forcing Kerr off the bottom. And some of the others that saved tires before moving forward too. All of a sudden, 41 minutes to go. Coming up this time by. The intensity level has ramped up for the lead.
All of a sudden, what felt like maybe a 3-car battle for the lead 3 or 4 minutes ago has turned into like a 12-car battle for the lead. I mean, look at this here. You got Morgan up there, Acosta, Ross Cato's in there, Richard Regan, Blake Reynolds is up there. My goodness, this is just like a who's who within all maybe 2 seconds of each other.
Here's Reynolds. He is coming. He's starting to go, and he's bringing Regan Jr. with him up top side, at least in this pack.
Listen, if you're Blake Reynolds or Richard Regan, you only have one thing in your mind right now as well, which is win. You're not going to get the points. You're not going to win the title. You're not going to anything. You're here to win, and that's what they're going to show us here and how they're going to drive these race cars.
I think I just heard a pit call over the radio. Mark Canlin just said he is pitting on lap 26.
Well, I know he hit the wall a few laps ago off screen. We heard some reports of that. Some of maybe he messed up the car, or if he just wants to try something different, see what comes of it. But right now, look at this massive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars, all in that camera shot that could take this lead. Watch this real quick.
This is Mikey Smith. Oh boy.
Wow.
And then after that, just pulled over. Just with how loose he got. Oh boy. Here comes Regan Jr. And once again, for the lead, Kerr slides past Ted Lowendick.
Kerr back to the lead where he started now. And now, at least for the moment, Kerr and Lowendick have put a small gap between themselves and Abner Acosta from P3. Here's Mark Killen on the bottom of your screen. That's out of the pits here. So I think that's got to be off cycle. I can't imagine pitting. Maybe. I don't know.
We're a quarter of the way, but that's a lot early, yeah. That's not usually a strategy window at this point.
That's really hoping it stays green is what that is. If it stays green, maybe something comes of it. Otherwise, I don't know.
Reynolds up to 5th, Regan Jr. up to 4th. Ted Lowendick still going for the lead. Morgan going the wrong way. Ross Cato trying to go the right way forward for 6th.
Ross Cato in that Home Depot machine. This is that throwback to when Tony Stewart was in the Cup Series back, what, the late 2000s, early 2010s maybe would have been that paint scheme was, well, let's see. We've been in a Joe Gibbs car, so what, mid-2000s?
Colton Lane back in 14th. Right now trying to battle high side. Bumgardner inside. Nathan Deering, he's also trying to make some moves.
Bumgarner right now is trying to get to the bottom of this track here and get under Colton Lane and see what he can make happen. Well, JP, here we are. We're basically almost 20 minutes into the race. A lot of drivers have learned things. We talked about the unknown. We talked about needing to learn live and on the fly, and some people have learned how the draft works. They've learned not to hit the wall. They've learned when to take the lead and how to take the lead. Now that we're into phase 2 of the race, now you got to sort of just chill out for a bit. Let things come to you or let things happen before it's go time.
Right now, Blake Reynolds, he's still holding on. Ross Cato nearly hits the wall in the backdrop. Ross Cato all the way to the top shelf.
Yeah, way up there was Ross Cato, and now it's going to try to make his pass here on James Morgan. You see that 12 machine right ahead of him. Man, listen to those tires just kind of just chirping the whole way around the corner, aren't they?
Well, that's a bad thing, right?
Oh yeah, no, I didn't mean that in positive. Yeah, typically, you know, you're told as a driver, if your tires are chirping, they're not happy. They're chirping to say, hey, knock that off. That's not the way to do this. But sometimes it feels unavoidable as a driver. Your tires are just going to make noise sometimes.
Jeff Ford also trying to make some inroads. He's trying to at least play defense on Jeff Evans, 9th and 10th. Up front, Blake Reynolds. He's already passed by Regan Jr. He's looking to pass Acosta.
Yeah, Reynolds, of course, we all know, a former eNASCAR Coca-Cola driver. I've had the chance to talk with Blake a few times over time, and just a real laid-back, chill guy, you know, willing to talk and have a good time, and retired, this is his first season not in eNASCAR?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, his retirement, so to speak, from eNASCAR Coke action, he immediately went to league ownership, started up a road racing series called SimCar. Then, after that, still kept up the connections with Nitro Circus, still raced with them in celebrity races, and still works with the organization in a big capacity. And since then, he, funnily enough, joined into the first top split of the season for the eNASCAR Road Pro Qualified iRacing Series this season and won his first major eNASCAR race ever. Then after he crashed in Las Vegas, retired because he said if he wasn't the points leader, then he wasn't going to race that series anymore in what would be the Road to the Coke Series. So Blake is pretty happy and just, once again, try to have fun.
Yeah, it's sort of, it's watching like a retiree just kind of doing what they want to do, and sort of weird and ironic that he goes out and wins that Road to Pro race where, you know, he's already been to the pinnacle and sort of dropped out of it himself. So sort of an ironic way to see him behave in a way. But man, Jeff Ward is really up in the top of this track all night long here, and we've been learning a lot about Jeff Ward this season, having fun watching him race, and one of our 2 Kentucky Wildcat paint schemes typically week by week on the track here. So Jeff's having a great time. There's Mark Kalin. There's the other ones. That's Mark Kalin on new tires, by the way, JP. He is scored. I'm trying to get my scoring up here real quick. If you have it better than I do.
Dead last.
Obviously a lap down, right.
He's running 32.8s in the pack right now. The drivers on old tires, 33-second lap times. Now, that last lap may have been muddied by traffic. He just flew up to 32.2s, but it's a very bold strategy. He's about to unlap himself.
Listen, that's a great run. That's a great difference in tire fall. Look at how dominant that is right there. And that should not be left alone and not discussed, because, I mean, Watch who's going to power right by Zach Curry here. When you see that happen to the driver, it is so frustrating. Now, the good news for them is he's not for position. But now you see how good new tires are. And now that's in your head. Now all you can think about is, man, when do I get new tires, right? It's like if you watch like your best friend open a present on Christmas and it's just that thing you wanted, whether it be a PS5 or whatever you wanted for Christmas. You're like, man, now that he has it, I really, really want it. That's how new tires look to Zach Kerr, Lowendick, and others in this moment.
A slide up to second for Blake Reynolds. Ted Lowendick trying the crossover move, but Reynolds, his tires look in prime condition to go on pounce mode if he's making passes like this.
Man, you know what? And what a boost of confidence this must be for Ted Lowendick, by the way. Not that Ted's not a great racer, he is. But when you can get up here and you can hang with the likes of a Blake Reynolds, an Abner Acosta, a Richard Reekin, and you can lead past them in a race, pat yourself on the back, young man.
Well, Reynolds got loose here, really wiggly. He's already recovered well. He's already looking like he's ready to attack the 72 again.
You know what? And isn't that really also a pat on the back to PRL, by the way? That some of these drivers signed up just to race. You know, they just, you know, like, I don't want to call names because I want to make it sound bad, but here you are racing with the likes of a Regan Jr., you know, e-NASCAR drivers like Blake Reynolds, Abner Acosta, who in a way is sort of Mr. PRL, or Bradley Holly, and getting out here and getting this experience is valuable. You know, it's going to be valuable. It's going to be so much fun next season getting all these guys in the trucks.
Take a look at Nathan Deering, and we did get confirmations on his setup, by the way. Above where that VR headset is, there's actually another monitor setup, apparently. That's right now his PC tower. That's the middle bridge between the main setup and the steering wheel rig.
Yeah, we got a picture of it last week after he heard our commentary, and it was like the world's smallest computer desk in a way, wasn't it? Just, hey, if it works for you, you know, not dogging on you, but it's pretty tiny. I can see how he missed it. But yeah, nice setup over there for Nathan Deering, and a nice run so far for Nathan Deering.
Reynolds looking for second again. Lowendick again having to take the higher grooves. Reynolds a lot more comfortable on the arc. Slides to second.
And will he complete the slide? Yes, he will. Slides right up in front of Lowendick, and now Lowendick kind of, I think, backed up just a little to let Reynolds in. So now they're all in a line, or, well, they were. It was going to be Reynolds, Lowendick, and Acosta. Now they're three wide. They went from in a line to three wide offset.
Acosta trying the wall. Now let's go back a little bit to what happened here with Jeff Evans.
That purple machine in the middle of your screen. Nice slide right there. Gets it down. Take it down on the apron. Nope. Keeps it moving. Gives up a bunch of spots, though.
Right now, 44 laps into the run. Take a look at Acosta. And right now, Acosta trying to keep up with that 66 that's flying by a car length per corner compared to the rest of these leaders.
Acosta has himself a full view of that Catwoman. Is that Halle Berry he's looking at right there?
Correct.
That's an interesting paint scheme by Ted Lowendick. I know it's been there before, but I never noticed. If you're, man, imagine if you're just right there behind Lowendick for a few laps. You just got a face full of Halle Berry.
.30 minutes to go. Almost halfway through the race as we take a look at Adam Zemke. He's now trying to battle it out. Colton Lane again. They are not done. They are still fighting hard for 14th.
Yeah, this is a great battle back here. It may not be for the lead, but it's still a strong, strong battle that they're having back here and trying to get around one another. But now as that window opens for the halfway, JP, now I think some question marks need to come up about who pits when. Obviously, we've already seen Mark Kalin do it. But I would think at the halfway mark, you might start seeing some drivers want to come down and see, you know, who can make this. If you split it halfway, you know, after you see how powerful new tires are from Mark Kalin, you might see a couple of people tempted to try it out themselves.
Hearing Bradley Holly got in the wall. As Ted Lowendick is pitting at halfway.
There it is. That's what I talked about. Listen, some people like that idea of knowing, hey, this is how the car behaved for half the race. Therefore, this is how the car should behave for the second half of the race. It's very symmetrical, very predictable, hopefully. I think I just saw maybe Jacob Dunn's going to come down here, so looks like pit stops are starting. This is Bradley Holly. This is what you talked about. Oh, man, that is not even just a light hit. He just, like, tried to move the wall.
Yeah, that's going to cost him a few spots. Doesn't look like too bad damage. Here in the 72 missed to stall by an inch. That's going to cost Ted some time.
That's going to cost him some time in the grand scheme here. So that's about 4 seconds I'm hearing pit delta wise slower than Mark Kalin. So we'll see what it does for Ted. Luckily, you know, he was at the front of the pack, so we'll see how that differs. Now Jeff Evans is going to come down. So everyone's going to try this halfway call, I think.
For the lead. Kerr in front. Reynolds looking for the setup. Having to get alongside to the inside. Now can he get the power down to make the pass?
That's that Nitro Circus machine coming into the inside here, and Kerr's trying to not let him get all the run off the corner, trying to kind of pinch him down a little. But I think here through this corner, oh, Blake, wow. Well, he almost fell back there. And Kerr's doing a great job at holding off the former eNASCAR competitor.
Has to reset it. Looks like he's going to try something different. Try and change it up. Use the top line for the run.
Ooh, and Kerr goes up and blocks it. So you see Reynolds made a lot of time there. By the way, new fastest lap, Ted Lowendick on those new tires. A 31.667. So Ted is going to now possibly claim that bonus point for fastest lap.
Gato Bumgarner in this time. Speeding penalty for Dunn. Reynolds goes inside off the apron for the race lead. Kerr scraped the wall. Blake Reynolds to the point.
There it is. Blake Reynolds came up kind of fast off of that apron. I thought maybe he was just trying to intimidate Kerr, and maybe did a little bit because Kerr moved up higher. But now here we are more than halfway through, and now there's a crossover. Kerr's going to try it.
Not able to get it alongside though. And Kerr says it's time to pit. Smart call.
But yeah, why not? Does he already give the lead? Why not try something different? Then it, ooh, there's James Morgan. I was kind of loose in the back there. There's Jacob Dunn coming down again, by the way.
Oh, in trouble. Colton Lane hard to the wall. He crashes as the second driver spins into pit road. That's Jose Medina.
And that's maybe a penalty for Medina, right? For getting into the grass. Let's take a look. So, oof.
And next in, Abner Acosta. Smooth and in. Beautiful entry.
Wow. Almost like pit lane got more exciting than the race itself there for a second, JP. So if you're Blake Reynolds, you have nothing to, like I said, you're only here for one purpose. That's the DJ Khaled song. You know, win, win, win. So why not run this thing dry? Why not hope for the yellow? Why not wait and see what happens? You know, Blake's going to join here with 4 races to go. He doesn't, you know, he's not going to win the points title. He's not even going to be relevant in the points title with all due respect. So why not try it? Richard Regan now down pit road though. So that lead basically Blake Reynolds is like got to be what, the last or next to last driver left out of him and Jeff Ward.
Regan Jr. and Holly in this time by. So how long does Reynolds go? Looks like Reynolds going to at least go one more lap here. Remember, he was about to save it a fair bit, coming up to 55 laps into the stint.
Yeah, by the way, of note, Mark Kalin did pit again, so whatever thoughts we may have had that first pit was a strategy call may have been wrong, because he has come down pit road again, so he gave up whatever he gained off of that stop. James Morgan now the fastest lap at 31.620. This track is speeding up.
Yeah, the instant time about 3 p.m. Track temperatures have dropped. Reynolds is coming in this time by. The race leader is in.
There you go. There's Blake Reynolds, and there's Jeff Ward right behind him, I believe. So that'll finish the cycle. Now we'll come back around and see who leads when all is said and done. The first one on track is Lowendick. The question is, will he get back around here and be in the lead when the pit delta is done? Ted Lowendick has had some great laps here, so I think he might be ahead of Blake Reynolds when this is all cycled out. Here he comes. This is right.
Well.
This is, I mean, look at that. That's right there's the gap. I mean, there's Lowendick at the line. There's Reynolds leaving. That's obviously going to be a Lowendick win.
But remember, Ted is on much older rubber compared to some of these cars on track. Richard Regan Jr. new fast lap back in 9th. And that's going to be right about where Blake Reynolds peels up. In fact, he's going to peel up right next to James O'Brien.
Yep, there's Ross Cato, James O'Brien, both right there for him. So we'll see what he can do with this time he has left. About 23 minutes on the clock here.
Jeff Ward, Adam Zemke now a battle. Ward lost a bit of ground, it looks like, in the pit cycle. He's got 3 lap pressure tires up the road. Acosta getting boxed in, trying to battle with Regan Jr.
Man, a 31.4. This track really, I mean, they said the temps are down a lot from where we started. But you're right. I mean, this track is just, whew, it is fast right now. It's like watching, I saw them yesterday, the speed climbers at the Olympics. That's how fast we are right now. Maybe not that fast. Those guys climbed the wall in 5 seconds yesterday, JP.
That battle for the race lead is down to under half a second already. Ted Lowendick, that mistake on pit entry, and absolutely costly with the interval. Zach Kerr eating that gap for breakfast. Last time by 6/10.
Yeah, doing a great job here now, well within the realm of getting a draft off of Lowendick. So he'll suck in that draft and he'll make use of it. Now getting around Lowendick may be different, and if these guys aren't careful, they're going to create what we had last time. Here's a side-by-side pass. Kerr needs to complete it fast. Otherwise, Morgan, Regan, Acosta, and others could find themselves back in this picture.
And Kerr looks to set away. Blake Reynolds, by the way, he's already back inside the top 6. Pass on Jeff Evans, nicely, quickly done. Now Reynolds is going to be the true big test. He's got the freshest tires in this entire field. It's going to take a lot of speed, though, in 21 minutes to close up for the lead.
Yeah, last time by, Blake Reynolds a 31.984. Your leader, Zach Kerr, a 32.292. So about 0.3 of a second faster per lap right now. I don't think that's enough to put him there. You see all the times on the side of your screen, by the way, of all the last lap times. But I just don't think it's enough without a little bit of help.
He took the risk, but is it going to be one worth taking? He is closing up a fair bit compared to some of the others. It's just going to take a lot of time to see it really settle out. Of note, James Morgan, he's already reeled in second.
Yeah, doing a great job as Morgan here. I mean, we saw him scuff the wall earlier, and I thought maybe he would fall back, but he's done a great job at managing this car and looks to be having fun. Like I said, won the last B-Fix race that ran before we went live tonight. So obviously he has figured out something at Chicagoland that he likes and makes a big pass on Lowendick. Now just slide it back out and get up in front of Lowendick here. There you go. Great job. And now he needs to hope that Regan and Lowendick end up in a big battle.
Well, Regan Jr. just going to take it up high side. But that battle lasted very long, did it?
No, not really. Regan just sort of dominated his way around. Here, this is Jeff Evans, Ross Cato. Ooh, man, Ross Cato with a rough transition there on the bottom of that apron. But holds on to it here. Now that'll be something way you can tell how the cars are behaving, by the way. We don't see enough cars really use that apron at this track anymore. But you usually can tell how loose a race car is. Because if you're loose, the last thing you want to do is touch that apron on the front straight.
Up to second. Goes to 56, Morgan letting him go.
it's maybe a good move by Morgan. Listen, if you know Richard Regan's faster, why burn up your stuff? Why kill your tires trying to battle someone? Let Regan get up there, see if Regan can burn up his tires, or maybe Regan gets up there and battles with Zach Kerr and brings the whole field back into the picture. You know, let someone else do your dirty work if you have to. But man, look at this right. This is tight, just aggressive in a positive way, driving between Cato and Evans. No one's hitting, no one's bumping, but everyone's just sort of making their presence felt in this moment. That's James O'Brien right behind him as well.
Now O'Brien quietly has done well tonight, but now Ted Lowendick's older tires, they're just not going to last. Top 5 speed all race, it wasn't the right call.
I mean, I think it was the right call. I think, unfortunately for Lowendick, it's just a matter of, as you said, that time on pit road, he lost by missing his pit stall. I mean, that's, 4 seconds on pit road is about, 6, 7, 8 seconds on track. Think of where he'd be right now. Probably still leading this race by a good margin if that weren't the case. So that may be what Lowendick has to take away from this race is practice pit road actions.
Reynolds looking for a move on Acosta, by the way. Shows the nose. Acosta gets him take it. Lets him take it inside. Not bad at all, Reynolds. Giving a lot of respect here to start things off for his PRL adventure.
Yeah, Reynolds is sometimes known to maybe have a little bit of, not aggression, JP, but, not afraid in the past to make contact might be the right way to say it, yeah?
Maybe, but it's been clean. No contact really all race. No squabbling. It's been a calm race with 17 minutes to go. It's trending green.
Yeah, and what fun that makes us, buddy. Look at this. We're trending green. We're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All those spots right here in this camera shot. Cato, Holly, Evans, Sink, Jeff Ward. You add in James O'Brien in the front of this picture. Man, it's so much fun when a race goes green. 3 wide, up high. Maybe 2 wide here. But it's Thomas Sink right there on the bottom trying to stay clean.
Jose Medina just trying to let the drivers go. He's 2 laps down. That's able to calm down for now. Jeff Evans, Jeff Ward, getting passed by Evans. This is for 3rd. Reynolds, yet again a pass, yet again a move.
Yeah, great job here. Reynolds obviously showing his expertise. And listen, this is a track where expertise means something. As we said in the opening of this portion of the broadcast, we don't race here a lot. This is not a track that really the Grand National cars come to a lot. So having the experience that Blake Reynolds has of multiple years of racing here will mean more, maybe compared to someone who is just kind of learning this track for the first time.
This race lead, though, about to get interesting. 2 lap fresher tires from behind. Regan Jr. not afraid to push Kerr here.
Of course, Regan, his first race back, won last week. Won it pretty dominantly. This one will be a bit more of a battle to get the win here so far. I mean, we're 19 and a half minutes to go, and he's still, 15 and a half to go. And he's still trying to get there and is trying to make his presence felt. And is now side by side for the lead.
Regan Jr. slides by Kerr. And now Regan Jr., your race leader, look who's coming. The 66 with 15 minutes to go, making it a 3-car scrap.
Yep, right there. That's what you allow a little bit when you're Richard Regan and you can't get that pass done instantly. You let other people into the picture. And man, look at Blake Reynolds now moving to the bottom. He's going to try to get under Zach Kerr and does. And this just got more exciting.
For the lead, Reynolds, he's got 2 lap fresher tires in the 56. And now has the momentum. He's been a rocket down the straightaways this run. Regan Jr. not going to pinch him, not going to even fight him. Blake Reynolds to the point.
But interesting to see. Woo, man, a big slide up the hill there by Reynolds. Sort of interesting to see interesting to see Regan sort of just back off and let someone go. You don't typically see that here. Here's Abner Acosta and James Morgan. This is the battle for 4th and 5th on track here. And now Morgan really is kind of falling back here down through the field. It feels like Morgan has not figured out how to have a successful long run here. Feels like short runs are the key to his success.
Are not happy. Hearing Rodrigo Morales gonna let by Colton Lane after some of the people who spun on pit road. Colton Lane avoided damage somehow from the spin, but is still a long way away from good points haul.
Yeah, long way away from that at this point, because that spin was massive and crazy. There's so many people spun or had issues there within the, that one moment on pit road. But Colton Lane's going to try here. Whew, touch that white line, and I thought for sure he may have had some problems, but hope he's good.
Morales did hit the wall, by the way. You weren't seeing whatever that scrape was. He avoided significant fender damage, it looks like, though. Just a scrape on that car. Ross Cato, back to him. Oh, and now we have a spinner. Mikey Smith coming in. He just broke the right front.
Yeah, that's obviously not a scheduled stop. He's coming down for damage. You can kind of see, based on the way that car is kind of moving and scraping along, that needs to get something fixed there, I believe. But now back on track here. Thomas Sink on the bottom, Ross Cato on the top. This is going to be a battle right here. This is for P10.
Yeah, and so far, Cato showing flashes of speed, but Thomas Sink, he needs a solid run. He's had a lot of streaky racing this season. If you look towards the standings, 8th in the standings, just the one top 5. Usually we've seen him do a little bit higher than that, being contention for top 5s in the past. Oh, their contact.
My goodness. Wow. Not clear Thomas Sink would be the call on the spotter radio right there, because that's what it was. So he'll back it up and try again later for Ross Cato. Man, oh man, that was scary.
Still able to hold on though, but Cato's doing a good job high side. You have to give him credit. Thomas Sink just cannot get alongside Foley.
Whew. There it is again. That's the replay of that, what we kind of caught live. Looked even scarier for Fernando. Just, man, oh man.
The free falling continues for the 72. This has turned into a disaster for Ted.
Yeah, right there. It's getting passed by Jeff Ward. The next car in line there is going to be Jacob Dunn, who is not for position. Jacob is multiple laps, 4 laps down. So that's just a moment of pride. Jacob running, hoping maybe to get some points later. But man, he's got another piece of the wall. But he got like a Pink Floyd song right there. There's another brick in the wall. Was Jacob Dunn.
Going around to 10 minutes to go, just about in this one. And Sink, it looks like, does get the top 10 spot. And at this point, wouldn't anybody like a creamsicle? It's starting to get shady out here.
Well, in a way, that's good news for the drivers, because if it's getting shady, that means the track should continue to cool off if it can. Right now, 106 degrees Fahrenheit. It's pretty far down from where I recall us starting this race, so that's good news for the speeds here. But I think there's a few drivers probably hoping to see something kind of creamsicle-esque colored and a caution flag. Just give you some drivers hoping they could put new tires on and get one more run at this. And one of those people might be Zach Kerr.
I think everyone's hoping for that at that point, if they're anything but Blake Reynolds. 2/10 quicker than the field with 10 minutes to go. Blake Reynolds is on rails.
Yeah, doing a great job here. Now this next test coming up here will be these couple of lapped cars ahead of him. We'll see how the lap traffic behaves around someone who, is this here to win? Do they race him different? Do they let him go? Does he race them different? Lots of things can come up here. And man, oh man. And by the way, look at that helmet right there. That is a nice, nice helmet there for Blake Reynolds. Look at that mirror shot right there.
He's had it for years, the Star Wars themed helmets. And I don't blame him because, you know, it makes things look intimidating. Looks like he's full of style.
I mean, yeah. I mean, unless you're a Star Trek fan and then you realize that Star Trek is better.
You really want to start this debate now?
No, I don't want to start it. I mean, we've had it before, but it's you know, sometimes when you're spitting truth, you're just spitting truth.
Either way, though, Reynolds is just mighty smooth. He's barely even having to put any wheel input into it.
Oh yeah, I mean, Blake Reynolds is having a great run here. Looks like he's out for like a Sunday drive, doesn't it? Just having a grand old time. Here's Doug Evans in that bright green machine, having just a day, probably the right way to put it. I mean, back in P15, so maybe not a lot positive for him, but still out here. Got Mike Knight behind him and Nathan Deering in front of him here on the track with 8 minutes to go.
Doug Evans right now trying different grooves too. And what's kind of going through the mind now that we're in the home stretch, 15 estimated laps to go here? What's going through your mind here if you're the Evans?
Well, if you're Jeff Evans right now, you're just kind of hoping time runs by faster. He's got a couple of cars behind him here, and Adam Zemke and Nathan Deering. He just kind of wants to hold on, let things happen, maybe let a caution come out and reset the field. But all he can do now is to sort of do his best to mirror drive and hold on to this top 12 spot here unless something better comes along.
Looking at the battles going on, lap traffic. He drives by it. Not been the prettiest of races for a hometown and a home state race for Zemke.
It's not necessarily the prettiest of races, no. And of course, that's always something we always all hope for, isn't it? When you come to your home track, either be a home state or a home country, depending upon where you're from. It feels good to perform well. It feels like you should perform well in your mind, and you kind of can get yourself too hyped up about that idea if you're not careful. So Adam Zemke is hoping to get out of here, with a clean race car. That may be a victory compared to some other drivers, but we'll wait and see. Now, speaking of Jeff Evans, by the way, maybe not the face of Whataback on a public side, maybe not someone who gets a lot of Whataback wins, or maybe not as well known as, say, a Bradley Holly in that level, but really the amount of work that Jeff does on Whataback Racing as far as helping with the screenshots and the social media posts and really helping kind of build that camaraderie within that community is pretty cool to see. A lot of times I think Jeff goes maybe underappreciated for what he does for that team by the public, not by his own team, but most people don't know. Jeff is sort of one of the backbones of that team.
Yeah, we've seen it really come to be. How about you expand upon that? How is he the backbone and why?
Sometimes when you have a team like Whataback that has a decent roster, when I say a number of roster size, having someone like Jeff who's out there and willing to have those conversations and embrace the community and realize, hey, a successful team are friends, right? That's how you become successful. You have that camaraderie. So the things Jeff does outside of the social media posts, outside of the screenshots, he gets them involved. He has, there's chats every week that Jeff is sort of the center of, just goofing off, having fun. Jeff's been a big proponent of the NCAA College Football 25 dynasty they're running. It just, if you see the Whataback Discord, Jeff Evans is just all over it, making sure people stay engaged.
So far, he's stayed engaged in the battle. Speaking of the battles, though, Acosta, Morgan, they stay close together. Acosta trying to maintain distance. Mind you, Morgan on slightly older tires is keeping Acosta at bay with under 5 minutes to go.
And this is sort of a weird race, isn't it? Because right now what you see is Morgan running fifth. But in a way, for Abner Acosta or James Morgan, they're sort of running second and third as far as the points are concerned, right? Because Reynolds and Regan are not, as I said before, not in the points battle. So right now, big picture, if you're Zach Kerr, Abner Acosta, James Morgan, even Jeff Ward, you sort of can just kind of mentally scratch those 2 guys off the top of the list and say, hey, I had a great run tonight because, you know, that's where I finished, but I'm going to get good points out of this.
That's one of the main keys with the championship, the way it's looking, is getting good points finishes. Costa right now, your points leader. Gonna lose a touch bit of ground, but not a lot compared to what we're seeing with Kerr. Keep in mind, Kerr last week ended up taking the drop. So that's gonna have hurt him long term possibly if he has anything else go wrong this season.
Yeah, with Daytona looming, right? That's not what you want to hear. And, you know, James Morgan had a work trip last week. He missed last week's race. So he also has a 0 for a drop right now. So, you know, Morgan cannot afford any more mistakes. Morgan temporarily dropped out of the top 10 to that 0. But I'm sure we'll be back in there this week, you know, when all is said and done. But, yeah, right now we'll have to wait and see how everything plays out. And here's Zach Kerr trying to get around Colton Lane, the lapped car, and less than 3 minutes now, JP, to be crowned a winner.
Yeah, Kerr doing a solid job at least to keep up with Richard Regan Jr., but just doesn't have the tires. Regan Jr., still your fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, Regan's done a great job setting a fastest lap, but as you said, last time by, let's see, 33.2 to a 33.0. Blake Reynolds right now is running faster on track.
So right now, we continue to battle it out. Two minutes to work with here. Blake Reynolds on rails. Your thoughts on Blake Reynolds in this dominating race?
I mean, in a way, it's not surprising, right? I mean, Blake's known for having great talent, great skill, coming in and winning races. You know, so in a way, this is not surprising in the least bit. But hey, listen, a lot of people should be proud of themselves. They made Blake work for this. This was not a walk away. This was not, sort of what we saw in the last race with Brett Adams. This was not flag to flag or banner to banner. You know, Blake had to work for this. And a lot of drivers, you know, Ted Lowendick, Zach Kerr, Abner Acosta, James Morgan, on down, should be proud that they were able to kind of hold their own, you know, against a former pro driver and Blake Reynolds. So Blake will win this time by. Now we go to Michigan, we go to Daytona, we go to Darlington. Let's see how it continues to play out here. Speaking of Lowendick, here he is battling with Jeff Ward for P6 and P7. Lowendick led a couple laps earlier, JP, but then quickly fell out of the picture.
Yeah, Ted's tires, the call just didn't work. He would have been under attack by this point if it wasn't for the pit road mistake. But wasn't a winning call.
No, maybe not a winning call, but obviously, I mean, you know, you're right. Probably under attack already by now, but you know, the woulda, shoulda, couldas of what he, you know, where would he have been if not for that pit road mistake and missing his stall? Who knows what could have happened? That likely was 2 to go right there, JP. The next time by should be white flag for Blake Reynolds, I would think.
We'll see. Should see the white flag coming up here. Blake Reynolds outright dominant today. He's just running high side at this point. Just building up the momentum and building up the deficit. Richard Regan Jr. to
There
him.
it is. There's the
White flag is out. Final time around.
Man, that's about as close as you could have gotten right there to taking the white. Like 1 second left on the board.
And right now, Ted Lowendick at least trying to fight back for spots with Jeff Ward. But Blake Reynolds in the little box will come through 3 and 4. He comes in the PRL and outright dominates the race. Ted Lowendick getting loose in the battle. But Blake Reynolds wins the battle for the win. He wins at Chicagoland.
Watch Blake Reynolds, or excuse me, Lowendick here. Pardon me, I got the wrong name. He sort of dove into that corner there and just almost tried to get around him, but nope. Jeff Ward will win that battle here for that spot.
And a little battle again. Zemke and Jeff Evans for 12. Zemke got it. But how about that race tonight?
Well, I'll tell you what, how about the fact they went green the whole way, JP, for cars that are known to be loose, for a track that was sort of the unknown and how it could behave. Lots of great racing here.
Blake Reynolds goes to celebrate. How would you describe this win tonight for Blake on debut of the season?
I mean, dominant at the end, right? Just pulled away from the field and dominated this victory. So great job by Blake Reynolds, 1 for 1 in the PRL Grand National Series.
Outright dominant run as he burns it on down. Let's take a look at the race results if we can. As Reynolds put on a clinic. 4.5 seconds at the very end. Let's look at the qualifying results, believe, on the pylon. Let's do this again. Zach Kerr in third, Acosta and Morgan in the top 5. Ward, Lowendick, Hawley, O'Brien, and Sink your top 10. Thomas Sink able to hold on. Ross Cato finishes 11th. Zemke wins a drag race over Jeff Evans for 12th. Nathan Deering, Dustin Bumgardner quietly in 15th. Doug Evans and Mike Knight finishes on the lead lap 30 seconds back. Colton Lane a lap down with Mark Kayla, and Rodrigo Morales also finished a lap down. 2 down for drivers like Nick McLaughlin and Jose Medina. Jacob Dunn, after multiple penalties, finished 23rd. Mikey Smith parked it with 28 to go. So touch bottom about your race results. Regan Jr. getting the fastest lap point tonight. But we already have your race winner tonight, Blake Reynolds. Welcome to the PRL and welcome to Victory Lane. What's going through your mind after that one?
Well, I'm watching a car hit me right now. There we go. All right. So, I don't know if y'all saw that. Yeah, it was a fun race. It was interesting aspect of saving. You just really couldn't push the tire at all. So that first run of the race, everyone was kind of saving hard. And I was just biding my time right behind Richard and Abner. This is kind of the people I was racing. I was told those guys would be very quick tonight. So we got in the race, and then we got through the pit cycles, and my car just hooked up. I figured out how to use the right front, not make it so loose, and that ended up helping me a ton in the center and off the corner. It was a very useful tool I figured out.
So what brought you to the PRL tonight?
Oh, so I'm on Solpec Precision Racing. It's my road team. But I guess the oval guys on there were like, hey, come run PRL. And I was like, okay, sure. So I've come and run PRL, and I want to thank Jerome for the invite out here. And yeah, it was a good race. Nice and clean, green. Interesting aspect with the timed races. It's a little different. But it's good fun, glad we got the Nitro Circus Ford Mustang Dark Horse, I think it is, in the Xfinity Series, in Victory Lane. And shout out to Precision Racing and all of them for the invite and the recommendation.
So will we be seeing you now full-time the rest of the way here?
I don't know. I was told next race is Daytona, and that sounds kind of fun.
Actually, it's Michigan and then Daytona.
Boo. Okay, so I will do Daytona, not Michigan. But yeah, it's a good group of guys. I think, from my understanding, the attendance is a little down tonight. I think Daytona. I mean, everyone loves Daytona, so we'll see what happens there.
Any show that you like to give after this one?
Sure thing. Nitro Circus, Next Level Racing, Racecraft, all my partners. Solpec, Precision Racing, and you guys for broadcasting. RaceSpot always does a good job, so good on y'all, and yeah, thanks again.
Congratulations once again on the run tonight, Blake.
Thank you.
Blake Reynolds comes away with the win tonight. Second spot goes the way to Richard Regan Jr. Richard Regan Jr. now standing by with Derek Watson.
Well, Richard, a nice, clean green flag run. A little different maybe than what we saw for a little bit of last week. But good job on P2. What was it like out there?
Oh, it was slick. I don't know. I tried to take it real easy that first run, and Blake was pretty much following me the whole time. And then once he started to go, I tried to go, and I had no grip in the back of the car. So I figured after that pit stop that I'd try something a little different and push a little bit harder, and it worked. And then it was crazy because I was racing with Zach, and I didn't even think Blake was near us. And then next thing I know, I get clear of Zach, and here's Blake. So I was like, oh, that's great. But congrats to him, and definitely appreciate him running everybody clean.
Yeah, great run by him indeed. So we've now seen it 2 weeks in a row. The schedule finishes out, I believe it's Michigan, Daytona, Darlington. Is Richard Regan locked in for the last 3 races?
I'm trying. Somebody told me that if I run the rest of the season, I'm still eligible for the playoffs. So that's my goal. So I don't really know exactly what they're going to do with the playoffs, considering we're getting rid of this car and everyone's going to be driving the truck. So hopefully I'm in that mix, and hopefully we can get another yearly championship.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. I'm going to do an old press conference move. You said everybody's driving the truck. Does that include Richard Regan Jr.?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, there you go. Breaking news. Richard Regan in the truck for season 4. Well, next week is Michigan. Big, wide open racing, more so than this tonight. What are you looking forward to?
Hopefully nice long green flag runs, honestly. Even though this track surface is older than Michigan, it's probably gonna somewhat be a little similar, because I mean it's really easy to push hard early and burn up your stuff, and then the long run pace is gonna come into effect. So I'm gonna do some more practice for next week, and hopefully if Blake does run, I know he said he might not, but if he does, hopefully I got something closer to him. But yeah, I'd like to give a shout out to Stent Analyzer, JZ Photography, Neonizm Paints, Mission 22, Multiple Sclerosis Society, everybody at Regenboog Motorsports. Give a shout out to Abner and James O'Brien for being in Discord with me tonight. Everybody at RaceSpot and PRL.
All right, well, you stole my last question, so I guess I'm done with you. There you go.
Oh yeah.
All right, Richard, great run tonight. We'll see you next week.
All right, thanks guys. See ya.
There you go. That's Richard Regan Jr. Finishes P2 tonight, Justin.
So nicely done for Richard Regan Jr. Nicely done for Zach Kerr. He finishes in 3rd. Zach, describe that race here and how you felt the strategy went for you.
It was very loose. Firstly, I tried to save as much as I could during the first stint, which went pretty well, and I kept it out front. After the pit stops, I tried to save and slightly pull away, but the other two were just way too quick for me.
And on that note then, what drew you to take that time to take the strategy and why?
I ran a B fixed race during the week and I realized how loose it was, and knowing the longer race distance, it would be very important to save tire in the long run.
So with that being said, a couple races to go. Your thoughts on the championship fight as things stay pretty tight between you and Abner?
It'll be a good fight. Hopefully I can be on top again at Michigan and see how the luck goes at Daytona. So,
anyone who want to give a shout out to here tonight?
Massive thanks to the Nexus Esports guys and the Hyperion Racing guys.
Congratulations once again on the run tonight, Zach.
Thank you.
Zach Kerr coming away in 3rd spot this evening. I'd like to thank the whole top 3 for taking the time to speak with us during post-race coverage here on RaceSpot. Derek, your final thoughts on this one tonight here from Chicagoland?
Good, clean, fast, chaotic, maybe at times maniacal racing. One of the best races of the season so far. Lots of lead changes, lots of new names. Man, if we could do it every week, this would be like heaven.
Well, next week we head to Michigan International Speedway. That coverage starts for the Grand National side at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch that once again here on RaceSpot after the conclusion of the truck race. Once again, MIS is the location next week. We'll see what happens next time out from Brooklyn, Michigan. On that note, though, here tonight, it's been an exciting day. It's been an exciting night of racing. And now it's time to say goodbye from Chicagoland. For the rest of our crew this evening, for Derek Watson, for Dustin Owens, I'm Justin Prince saying so long. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We'll see you next week from the Glen and Michigan for road course racing and racing at a 2-miler.